Imagine if everyone you ever met could read your thoughts for a day. No filters, no edits, just raw, uncut truth. Would you live the same way you do now? Or would you finally stop pretending and start living? Here's the real question. How much of your life is yours? And how much is just an endless audition for the approval of people who will never remember your name? In every classroom, in every office, there's always one person with a burning thought on the tip of their tongue, too scared to say it out loud. They bite it back. The conversation moves on. Their idea, gone forever, replaced by a hollow silence that no one notices except them. Years later, nobody remembers what was said that day. But that person, they still feel the scar of that unspoken truth. Most people die as ghosts, haunted by opinions, never their true selves, just shadows performing for an invisible crowd. You crave applause but lose yourself with every act. You fear being called crazy, weird, arrogant, or wrong. So you shrink, you edit, you play small, hoping the world will finally hand you permission to live. Here's the viral secret nobody tells you. That permission will never come. We're told be yourself, but then we're punished for every misstep. So you become a walking algorithm, optimizing for likes, retweets, acceptance, and safe applause. Meanwhile, your real life, the life that would set you on fire, never even gets out of the draft folder. Let's call it, this isn't just a bad habit, it's a cultural disease. If you're still haunted by what people might say, you're living in someone else's cage. Here's how to smash the bars before you end up one more ghost in the crowd. What's one truth about yourself you've never said out loud? Pause. Type it, somewhere, anywhere. If you don't, you're already choosing silence over freedom. Why do we do this? What twisted part of human nature makes us prisoners in our own lives? Get ready to see the real roots, and why they're much harder to rip out than you think. Here's the ugly truth. You were wired from birth to fear, exile more than death itself. Our ancestors didn't survive alone. They survived because being outcast meant starving, freezing, or being hunted. Fast forward, you're not running from wolves now, but your brain doesn't know that. Today's threat isn't the dark outside the cave. It's the glare of 1,000 eyes on your every word, move, or mistake. Ever watched a herd of animals? One stumbles, the others scatter. You can feel that ancient panic in every awkward silence, every group laugh that excludes you, every time your phone buzzes and you wonder if you're in or out. Deep down, your worst fear isn't failure, it's not belonging. Now, the world's gotten slicker at weaponizing that fear. Social media, a perfectly engineered slot machine for approval. You post, wait, count likes, edit, delete. Scroll through highlight reels, compare yourself, shrink. It's not just addiction, it's submission. You're on stage every day dancing for a crowd that can turn cruel in a heartbeat. Here's the secret, the system doesn't want you to see. You crave likes and followers, but every time you chase them, you're handing over a piece of your soul. Seneca nailed it centuries ago. No one becomes deeply unhappy all at once. It's 1,000 micro-compromises, each one invisible, each one stacking up until you can't recognize your own voice. Modern psychology calls it the spotlight effect. You think everyone is watching, judging, remembering every flaw. But the reality, everyone else is lost in their own performance, just as scared as you. Yet you keep acting, keep shrinking, keep curating a version of yourself you don't even like. Let's break another safe zone. Every time you silence your truth for comfort, you're voting for a smaller life. You're giving away your power to people who don't even remember your name a week later. You're making yourself forgettable, on purpose. You chase approval, thinking it will fill you up. But the more you chase, the emptier you feel. The real drug isn't applause, it's the hope that just once someone will finally see the real you and not flinch. Epictetus drew the line centuries ago. Some things are up to us, and some are not. You control your character, not your reputation. Everything else is a rental, expensive, and never truly yours. Lao Tzu said, care about people's approval, and you will be their prisoner. It's not a metaphor, it's a diagnosis. The real enemy isn't out there, it's the voice in your head, begging for acceptance. You're the guard and the prisoner, both. Ask yourself, what's one truth you haven't lived, just because you knew it would be unpopular? How much of your life is still yours? If you keep playing this game, you know how it ends. But what if the stakes are even higher than you think? The consequences aren't just personal, they're infecting every relationship, every dream, every risk you never take. You think you're just keeping the peace, fitting in, avoiding drama. But that comfort, it's costing you your life, one invisible cut at a time. Picture this: you walk into a room and feel the urge to shrink, smile, say what's expected. You edit your joke mid-sentence. You bite back the real story. Everyone's doing it. You leave, and later, no one remembers you, because you never really showed up. Multiply that by a lifetime. Now imagine a whole city, a whole generation, living like this, faces pressed behind glass. Every conversation a dance around the truth. Seneca warned, no one becomes deeply unhappy all at once. It's a slow death, one where you trade authenticity for belonging, day after day, until you're a background character in your own story. You start with small edits: don't say that, don't wear that, don't dream that. Then you look up, years later, and realize you can't even remember what you actually believe. The more you perform for the crowd, the less you feel alive. You start living for reactions, double taps, applause, even controversy, anything to prove you exist. You get dopamine spikes, but each one fades faster. FOMO isn't just fear of missing out. It's fear that if you stop performing, you'll vanish. But here's the twist: the more you hide, the more alone you feel. You think you're avoiding pain, but you're building a wall between yourself and every honest connection you could have. Confucius warned, "He who seeks to please all men will lose himself." Most never realize until it's too late. The crowd moves on, and you're left with nothing but Let's go deeper. This isn't just your problem, it's everyone's. Society becomes an echo chamber. Innovation dies, and truth is replaced by safe, viral sameness. You don't just lose yourself, your silence helps erase the possibility for anyone to be truly seen. Here's what you really miss: the idea you never pitched, the art you never shared, the person you never loved out loud, the risk you never took, all so you could blend in and avoid trouble. Scroll any feed, notice how most people repeat what's safe, what's trending, what won't get them roasted. You recognize the sleepwalkers, and somewhere in you, the real you is screaming to be let out. Who would you be if nobody could judge you? Who are you pretending to be right now? Payoff: the slow erosion. If you don't act, you're trading the possibility of a legendary life for the comfort of being invisible. Ready to break the pattern? The only way out is a rebellion, one that starts inside your own mind. It's not about fighting the world, it's about refusing to be erased by it. If you're still reading, you're not a sleepwalker. Here's your warning: this rebellion isn't safe. You can keep scrolling, or you can choose to finally wake up. Imagine this: you walk into a room, you say what needs to be said, you laugh when it's funny, not when it's expected. You wear what feels true, not what will play well. You stop apologizing for being too much or too little. In that moment, you become uncageable. Micro story: the unstoppable few. Think of every icon you've ever admired, every legend, rebel, misfit. They were all too much for someone, too different, too loud, too silent, too real. They risked being called crazy so the rest of us could wake up. Nobody ever built a statue for the person who blended in. The 4 shields of the untouchable one. Brutal self-knowledge. Stop outsourcing your identity. Write down what you stand for. If it wouldn't make you unpopular somewhere, it's not real. Know who you are, or you'll believe what they say. 2. Ruthless surrender of control. You'll never hack the algorithm of public opinion. The Stoics didn't even try. Control your response, not their thoughts. Tattoo this: not my circus, not my monkeys. 3. Relentless awareness of impermanence. Today's critics are tomorrow's fans, or nobodies. Don't let applause or shade change your direction. Your reputation changes as quickly as a trending hashtag. 4. Obsessive focus on your own path. If it won't matter in 5 years, it doesn't deserve your panic now. Your peace is the only scoreboard that counts. Do this. For 7 days, speak one real truth out loud. Every single day, no matter how small. Don't wait for applause. Don't delete when it flops. Feel the discomfort, That's your soul coming back to life. Drop the mask once, even for an hour, and you'll be stunned. Some people will back away. But the right ones, they'll find you. Your people, your tribe, your audience. They're not out there looking for your mask. They're waiting for the one person brave enough to be real. The moment you stop asking for permission, you stop living someone else's life. You're free. Not because the world accepts you, but because you finally accept yourself. Comment, DM, text, or whisper. What's one truth you'll live out loud today? No edits, no apologies. Do it. And if you're really brave, make it public. That's the only way legends are born. Feel that spark. You're closer than you think. The real unlock, the final realization, isn't just about being unafraid. It's about becoming unbreakable. Stop. Imagine there are no eyes on you, no likes, no gossip, no applause. Just you. Alone. Raw. Unmasked. Standing in a silent room. Who's left? That's the real you. The only one who can't be erased by a scroll or a comment. If you don't recognize that person, you haven't really lived yet. This isn't just about opinions. It's about freedom. It's about becoming the person nobody can cancel, control, or bend, because you've made peace with living for something deeper than public approval. You're not here to pass through life as a well-liked shadow. You're here to leave a crater, something the world can't ignore, even if they try. Remember this. The most viral people on earth are forgotten the moment the feed refreshes, but the ones who dared to live out loud, the ones who stood for something, are the stories people tell around campfires for centuries. Seneca, burned by politics, wrote in exile, "The only way to win is not to play their game." Lao Tzu left civilization behind, because he'd rather vanish as himself than survive as someone else's puppet. Here's the secret. Your legend is built in the moments you risk being misunderstood, mocked, or hated. But keep going anyway. Every step you take above the noise, you become harder to erase. The people you were trying to impress, they'll either follow your lead or spend their whole lives wishing they had your guts. Want to be truly untouchable? Embrace every opinion, good or bad, as background noise. Welcome it, let it pass, let it burn. It's proof you're alive, proof you matter. If nobody hates you, you haven't made a dent. Unbreakable nature, be the mountain that stands through every storm. Be the wildfire that spreads no matter who tries to stomp it out. Be the legend that keeps echoing long after the crowd has gone home. Here's your final test. Wake up tomorrow and do one thing that scares you, one thing that risks being noticed, judged, or laughed at. Document it. Don't wait for permission. Don't apologize. You'll feel the fear, the urge to shrink, walk through it. That's your new oxygen. Right now, comment with your unpopular truth. Share the move you're about to make. Public, private, anywhere. If you're brave enough, tag a friend to do the same. That's how the rebellion spreads. Most people will scroll, forget, move on. A few will act. Those are the ones the world remembers. If you want to be legendary, stop waiting for permission. You were not born to fit in. You were born to break patterns. No more cages, no more masks, no more living and dying by other people's comfort zones. This is your legend now. Go live it. Loud, risky, real.